Good day, everyone. Professor D here. Today we're going to make a table. We're actually going to make two tables and we're going to run some queries today. So let's get started. Open up your Access database and we're going to create a blank database. So click on blank database. We're going to call this database vendor, and we're going to go out and save this in a folder where you want it to be saved. So I want it to be saved in this folder, so I'm going to say okay. You pick the folder you want it to be saved in on your computer, and you see it puts the Access database behind the word vendor. ACCDB. So I'm going to click create, and you see that Access creates a table for you. Now we're in datasheet view, but I will tell you that datasheet view is not the best place to create a table, and I'll tell you why a little later. So the first item on our agenda is to change the IDs to supplier ID. And how we're going to do that is we're going to double click ID. So this is the field names that we're making. So we're going to type in the word supplier ID. So it's capital S, capital I, and capital D. We're going to tab over and we're going to select uh, short text for most of these fields, okay? And short text means that we can have a combination of letters and numbers. So the next field name is company. All right, and short text, the next field name is category. Okay, and short text, and the routine is the same, address. Okay, and then the next one is city, and then the next one is state. And most of these fields will be short text. Zip. And the next one is phone. Okay. And the next one is contact first. It's all one word, capital C, capital F. And the next one is going to be contact last. And then this is the field we're going to change it to date and time, because we want to be able to put in this particular field a date and time. So we're going to say date and time, and we're going to call that field initial contact. And again, all one word. Okay. You can click out, and we have our field. So we're going to X out of this, and it's going to ask us to save. So yes, we want to save. And we want to call this table supplier. We want to call it supplier. So we're just going to type in the words supplier and then click OK. So our first table is created. Now we're going to create a second table. So we're going to go to create on the ribbon, and we're going to say table in the tables group. We're going to click on table. Now we're going to go to home, and then we're going to click on views in the views group, and we're going to click on design. And it's going to ask us to save table as, and we're going to call this table product. Okay, and we're going to say okay. All right, so in this table, we are going to create a product ID. So where it says ID, you're going to put in product ID. And we want to make sure that this product ID is a short text. Remember, short text, you can have a combination of letters and numbers. All right, so we also want to have supplier ID and product name. So the product ID you want to put in your description as primary because it's going to be the primary key. So what is a primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier for the particular for that particular record that we're creating. Okay, so a foreign key, which we're going to make next, is a key that identifies with the primary key in another table. Okay, so we want to make sure we understand primary key and foreign key. All right, so the next field is going to be supplier ID. Okay, and that's going to be short text. And supplier ID is going to be our foreign key. And we'll get more into primary key and foreign key later. And now we're going to type in the field for product name. Just want to make sure I'm having it right. And remember, product and name is all one word. And product name is going to be a short text as well. And of course, you can put the description that this is the product name. You just put product name. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Then you're going to have a field that says price. Okay, and that's going to be currency data type. So we click on the data type and we go down to currency. So currency is usually what? You know the answer to that. All right, and we're going to add two more fields, which is going to be temp control and that's going to be a yes or no data type. Okay, so you'll have the option, and then you're going to type in sterile, and that's going to be a yes or no data type. So you put that. Okay, and we're going to add a field that says units, and that's going to be a number data type. So we're going to put in number, and we already saved the field as product. So we have our second table, and you can see in the navigation pane we have a supplier table and we have a product table. So we can X out of this. Now I would suggest that you would have all the descriptions in here. Okay, so we're going to X out of this, and so you're going to ask you to save it, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to save it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to look in your book on page AC 1 through 54, and you're going to type in all the information from figure 1-39. Now when you're typing in that information, go ahead and start with the Harper 914. But I do want to say this, in your supplier data type, in your supplier table, go to home and let's go to views and let's look at the design view. Where it says supplier ID, make sure that's short text. All right, so you want to make sure that's short text, and yes, we want to save it. And for product, we want to do the same thing. We want to make sure that it is short text. Okay, so we're good there. So go ahead and type in all of the data for this particular table. So I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to close this because I have this already completed, and I have to enable content here. So this is my supplier table, and I didn't type every record, but you need to type all of the records. But I want to, once you have all of the information from Harper HAR 912 and all the way down to BAZ 412 in your book on figure 1-39, then you can start again with me. And what we're going to do here is we are going to create a, and I'm just looking at what your book calls it. We're going to actually create, let me just get out of here. We're going to create a query. Okay, so I close down my tables. My supplier table and my product table are both closed. So I'm clicking on create, going to the queries group. I'm clicking on query. I'm clicking OK because I want a simple query wizard. So I'm saying OK. And so what I want in this wizard is I want the category. So I'm going to click on category and click the arrow. And it's over here in the selected fields. And I want contact name to be in my query. And I want, I don't want that, but it's okay because I need the last name. And then I need the phone number. Okay, so my initial contact, I'm going to send that back. Then I'm going to say next. So once I have all my fields that I want to complete the query on, and what's a query? A query is you're asking a question. Okay, so I'm saying next, and I'm saying finish. And so it's giving me the answers to my question. Basically, that is what a query is, and you see the queries are over here, and it's listed as queries. Okay, so now we're going to do a form wizard. So we're going to do create, and we're going to go to the forms group, and we're going to say form wizard, and basically it's going to do the same thing. So for the form wizard, we want to add every item in our simple. Wait a minute here. Let me just go cancel this. Let me close this. I'm sorry. Create, and I'm going to go to form. Okay, here we go. My fault. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add actually all the fields, and we're going to say next. And so we want a columnar. So we want it in columns. So you can have a tabular, you can have a data sheet, you can have a justified. Okay, form, but we want a columnar, and we're going to say next. And of course, this is the supplier, and we want to see what it would look like. And this is exactly what it would look like. It would show everything in a form, and it would look like this. Okay, so we're going to click out of it. Okay, and then I'm going to let you do the report wizard on your own. So complete the report wizard, and then what I want you to do is item 17, item 18, item 19, and item 20 in your book. You should be able to do it. And then you're going to create, you're going to complete case problem 1 from a database from scratch. All right, I'll see you all in the next lesson. Bye-bye for now.